In our previous video lesson, we discussed that the x-coordinates of the x-intercepts of the parabola are the solutions of quadratic equations. Now, there are four algebraic methods that can be used to find the solutions of quadratic equations, and these are as follows: extracting the square roots, factoring, completing the square, and by using the quadratic formula. Let's start with extracting the squares method with the following learning targets. I can tell whether a quadratic equation can be solved using the extracting the squares method or not, and I can solve for the solutions of a quadratic equation using the extracting the squares method. Now, let us have some prerequisite skills review to understand the process of finding the solutions of quadratic equations. Now, what if you are asked here to rewrite square root of a into an expression with rational exponent? So, what are we going to do? Now, in square root of a, the index is understood to be 2, and the exponent of the radicand is understood to be 1. Okay? So, what is the first step? In writing it into an expression with rational or fractional exponent, we copy first the radicand as our base. Then we take the exponent of the radicand as our numerator and the index as our denominator. Same is true with cube root of a squared. We copy the radicand as our base. We take the exponent as the numerator. And we take the index as our denominator. Now remember that any term raised to a fractional or rational exponent can be expressed as a radical. Next. Now what if we have here a squared? Now you want a squared to become a. So what are we going to raise to the power of a squared so that the result is 1? So by using power law, we take the reciprocal of 2, which is 1 half, okay, as our exponent, okay? So we have now the power of a squared raised to 1 half is equal to what? So we are going to multiply the exponents. We have a raised to 2 times 1 half is equal to a. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So that is why we have here a. Or we can just simply mentally multiply 2 times 1 half equals 1. Same is true if we have here a cube. We want it to become a. Then we raise the power of a cube to the reciprocal of 3, which is 1/3. So multiply 3 times 1/3. So we have here a. A raised to 1. We also have here a raised to 3 halves. Okay. You want the result to be a. Just raised a raised to 3 halves to its reciprocal of 3 halves, which is 2/3. So we have 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 2 times 3 here is equal to 6. So 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1. Or simply cancel this. Okay? So that's it. Remember this because we are going to make use of this process in solving quadratic equation using the extracting the square roots method. Now, remember this. Every positive number has two square roots, one positive and one negative. For example, here we have square root of 16. Square root of 16 can be expressed in two ways. We have square root of 4 squared, which can be expressed as 4 squared raised to 1 half. Okay. So we have here our radicand is 4 squared, in which the exponent is 1 and the index is 2. So we have here the radicand, the exponent, and the index. So we have apply power law. So we have 2 times 1 half here. So we have here 4. And the other one is square root of 16 can be expressed as square root of quantity negative 4 squared, which can be written into an expression with rational exponents. Then, apply power law, we have here negative 4. This only shows that square root of 16 has two roots, and these are positive and negative 4. So, meaning to say, quadratic equations has at most two roots, which are positive and negative. Next. Now, when is the extracting the square root method best used? We use extracting the square roots method when there is a quadratic term or squared term, but no linear term or first degree term. Let's have some examples. Tell whether each equation can be solved using the extracting the square roots method or not. Okay. So, anong tandaan natin? Meron siyang squared term, pero dapat wala siyang first degree or linear term. Okay, ang number 1, meron siyang squared term or quadratic term, at meron din siyang first degree term or linear term. So, meaning to say, hindi siya pwedeng masolve gamit ang extracting the square roots method. How about number 2? Meron siyang quadratic term, at wala siyang linear term, so pwede. Next, number 3. Meron siyang quadratic term at wala ng linear term, so pwede rin ang number 3. How about number 4? Meron tayong quadratic term or squared term at meron din tayong first degree term or linear term. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya pwedeng masolve gamit ang extracting the square root method. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, maaari siyang factoring or other methods na na-mention kanina. Now, let's have some examples in finding the solutions of quadratic equation using the extracting the square roots method. Okay. So, ito. When we solve quadratic equations using the extracting the square roots method, it is best when we write first our equation in the form ax squared equals c. Okay? And then we apply the skills review that we did a while ago. So, ito. Ang hinahanap natin na solutions dito ay ang x values. X coordinates ng x-intercept. So, kailangan natin ang x. So, anong gagawin natin sa x squared para matira ay x? Kagaya kanina, we are going to raise it to the reciprocal of 2, which is 1/2, then apply power law. So, 2 times 1/2 is equal to 1. And then, kung ano yung ginawa mo sa left side, ganun din dapat sa right side. Kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, any term raised to a rational or fractional exponent is equivalent to its radical. Or may katumbas siya na radical. Okay. So, we have now the radical sign, 25. Exponent is 1, index is 2. Since 2 at saka 1, hindi na kailangan pang isulat yun. Okay. And then, we take now the positive and negative roots of 25. So, you have positive, negative. Square root of 25 is 5. Okay. So, we have here x is equal to positive, negative 5. How about this? Same process. Okay? Gusto nating makuha ang x. So, kailangang erase ito sa 1/2. Kung anong ginawa sa left side, ganun din dapat sa right side. So, we have here 2 times 1/2 is equal to 1. So, what's left is 1 here. Then, we get the positive, negative roots of negative 4. And obviously here, square root of negative 4 is not a real number. It's an imaginary number. But we can still simplify this. How? We express negative 4 as 4 times negative 1. And note that negative 1 is equal to I squared. Okay? So, you have positive, negative, square root of 4. Then, negative 1 is equivalent to I squared. Okay. So, you have positive, negative. Anong square root ng 4? 2. Ang square root ng I squared ay I. You might ask me, ma'am, bakit naging I na lamang ang I squared of I squared? Remember this, recall that square root of I squared can be written as I squared raised to, okay, 1/2. Then apply power law, then we have now I. Okay? Ganun din dito sa square root of 25. Ang square root of 25 can be expressed as 5 squared. And 5 squared, Square root of 5 squared can be expressed as 5 squared raised to 1/2. That is why our answer is positive negative 5. Okay? Next. How about this? Remember, sulat natin ang equation sa form na ax squared equals c para hindi tayo mahirapan. Okay? Ito, wala sa form na ito, so ililipat natin siya sa right side. So we have now x squared is equal to 5 minus 5. So we have here x squared is equal to 0. Then raise both sides to 1/2. To 1/2. We have x now is equal to the square root of 0, which is equal to 0. Hindi na tayo maglalagay pa ng positive, negative kasi nga ang 0 ay hindi signed number. It's neither negative nor positive. So the answer is 0. We only have one solution and that is 0. Ito, we have 4x squared minus 25. Hindi rin siya nakasulat sa form na ito, so ililipat natin siya sa kabila. Okay? So we have 4x squared is equal to 25. Okay? We need to isolate x squared, so mean to say we're going to divide both sides by 4. Then we have x squared is equal to 25 over 4. Then we need x, so therefore we raise both sides to 1/2. 1/2. So we have here x is equal to, okay, square root of, apply power law on quotient. So we have here the square root of 25 over the square root of 4. Do not forget to get the positive negative root. So we have here square root of 25 is equal to 5 and the square root of 4 is equal to 2. So we have positive negative 2. Next. Okay, again, when we solve quadratic equations using the extracting the squared method, we have to write it first in the form ax squared plus ax squared equals c. Okay, this is not yet in this form, so we're going to transpose 3 on the right side. So we have x squared is equal to 31 minus 3. So we have x squared is equal to 31 minus 3 equals 28. Then, we need x. So, raise both sides to 1/2. 1/2. So, we have 2 times 1/2 equals 1. So, you have positive, negative square root of 28. And we all know that square root of 28 can still be simplified because it contains one perfect square factor, and that is 4. Then, we have the other factor is square root of 7. We have x now is equal to positive, negative. Anong square root ng 4? That is 2. Then we have just copy square root of 7 because that is not a perfect square factor. It cannot be simplified now. Next, how about this? Okay, this is not yet written in this form, so we're going to transpose positive 10 to the right side, so it becomes negative. So copy 2x squared equals 42 minus 10. Okay, simplify this. So we have 2x squared is equal to 32. Then isolate x squared by dividing both sides by 2 by 2. So we have x squared is equal to 32 divided by 2 equals 16. Then we need x again, so we need to raise both sides to 1/2. So we have now positive, negative, square root of 16. We have x now is equal to positive, negative, square root of 16 is equal to 4. Okay? I hope you understand the process. And now, for your practice, okay, kindly pause this video for a while. Try to answer all 6 items, and then after answering, play the video. Okay, let us check your work now. Okay, so numbers 1, 2, and 3 are quite easy. So we are going to raise both sides to 1/2. So we have x here is equal to positive, negative square root of 49. X is equal to positive, negative square root of course, it can be written also as 7 squared. Okay, 2 divided by 2. So we have here positive, negative 7, or diretso na lang. Square root of 49 is equal to positive, negative 7. And obviously here, this is x equals square root of 0, x equals 0. We only have one solution here, we have two solutions. Okay, obviously here, we have two imaginary solutions. Okay, so we have raise both sides to 1/2. So we have x now is equal to positive negative square root of negative 16, in which negative 16 can be expressed as 16 times negative 1. Then we have plus minus square root of 16, and we all know that negative 1 is equal to I squared. So we replace negative 1 with I squared, then we take the square roots. Then the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of I squared is I. Very easy. Next, okay, in solving quadratic equations using the extracting the square roots, we have to write first the equation in the form ax squared equals c. And this is not yet in that form, so we are going to transpose negative 16 to the right side, so it becomes positive 16. Then isolate x squared by dividing both sides by 4. Okay, so we have x squared is equal to 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. Then we raise both sides to 1/2. Okay, x is equal to square root of 4, positive negative is equal to positive negative 2. Okay, next, number 6, we have transposed this to the right side so that it will be written in this form. So we have 9x squared is equal to 25 minus 9. So we have now 9x squared is equal to 16. Then isolate x squared again by dividing both sides by 9. So we have x squared is equal to 16 over 9. Then we raise both sides to 1/2. Then what we get now is x is equal to positive negative square root of 16 over the square root of 9. So we have positive negative square root of 16 is equal to 4, and the square root of 9 is equal to 3. Then for number 7, we transpose 100 to the right side. So what's left on the left side is negative 5x squared. Then we have negative 100. Divide both sides to by negative 5 to isolate x squared. So we have here x squared is equal to negative by negative is positive. So we have here 100 divided by 5 is 20. Then we have raise both sides to 1/2. So x now is equal to the square root of 20 positive negative. Can we still simplify square root of 20? Yes. The factors are square root of 4 and square root of 5. Okay, wherein 4 is the perfect square factor, so we have positive negative. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. Then just copy square root of 5. Okay, I hope you got all the items correctly. Okay, so if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask me during our online class. And we will have more of these during our online class. So thank you for your time today. See you in our next video lesson.